everyone, and welcome to the Nordic Day 2021. Tervetuloa, välkomna, welcome. My name is Ronny Eriksson. I'm one of the co-founders of Norders, the organization behind today's event. We have done today's event supported by the Nordic Council of Ministers, but also the unified brand of the Nordics, the Nordics. And the Nordics is an organization that has been for a couple of years now already working towards creating a unified brand, bringing all the different Nordic countries together to allow us to showcase the Nordic core strengths both here in the Nordic region, but also outside this Nordic region. This year is also special in many other ways. This year is the 50th anniversary of the Nordic Council of Ministers, and to celebrate and congratulate the Nordic Council of Ministers, we wanted to run a small tech test here in the start. And now all of you back there at your homes, please try and type in the chat a big congratulations to the Nordic Council of Ministers for the amazing pursuits they have done all the years before of this. So, what is actually the Nordic Day? Why are we celebrating it, and where does it come from? Well, if we go a bit back in time to 1962, something called the Helsinki Agreement was signed between the fellow Nordic countries. This agreement was done to actually fuel collaboration between these countries. And now, if we look at the new agenda 2021 to 2024, we can see that the aim of the Nordic region is to become the most integrated and sustainable region of the world. And I think we have actually taken many good steps towards that direction already. Today's event is though a bit special. It's a bit different from the events that we have had before. So we are here today talking in English, a language that I think that actually unifies the world in a really strong way. Myself, I'm hosting here from Egrid in Espoo, Finland, for the moment. And even though Finland has since the start been a really strong Nordic country, we have some barriers when it comes to the language. You might be familiar with the Finnish language. We have really hard sentences, really hard words. And if I would quickly change to the Finnish language, nimeni on Ronny Eriksson, tulen Suomesta ja käyn Hankkinin kauppakorkeakoulua. It actually pretty fast goes so that it's hard for us to understand. So, as this year, the Nordic Council of Ministers is actually running all of their events in the Nordic languages, which is amazing, bringing that strength and those core competencies for the local people. We, together with the Norders, wanted to bring the Nordic Day and all the Nordic activities available for you out there in the world in the mid of this pandemic to be able to see, experience, and also to get the understanding what the Nordics are actually about. We aim to showcase the Nordic core strengths of education, entrepreneurship, and entertainment that were put on the ground by the Ambitious Africa movement last year. These core strengths are things that we are actually extremely good at, passionate about, and that the world knows that we are driving onward. If we look more in detail about actually what the Nordic stands for, we have something called the Nordic Shared Values. And the Nordic Shared Values are 5 key values that have driven the change of the Nordic region now for years and years. These values include things such as openness, trust, sustainability, innovation, and compassion. These 5 things have actually made us a group of people up here in the most furthest part in the north who actually come together and build and create things, innovate around subjects, creating new, more colorful and innovative practices that also have a sustainable aspect towards the world. So there has been amazing, great things happening in our region for a long time. And now we have opened also our eyes towards the world. If you look at the Nordic region, you look at the great pursuits that have been done here, you can also find the Nordics in the world. there is something we call the Nordic model. And the Nordic model normally emphasizes the welfare model we have in the Nordic countries, whereas there are equal rights and we have the different opportunities to do things, and a really strong form of talentism. And what talentism actually allows us is that all of the young people of our continent are able to have the same starting point to their lives, the same opportunities to grow into the individuals they want to grow into. And I think that this is emphasized really strongly in the World's Happiness Report that is showcased every year, where the Nordic countries are actually among the top 10 year after year. I'm extremely happy to say that Finland, again this year, was the happiest country in the world. And for myself at least, that feels really good. It feels like home, it feels safe, and it's a really good touch point for us to get further with the different things that we're doing. Further, the Nordic model is also about opening your eyes towards the world and taking those best practices of the world back here home, adding a bit of color to them, adding a bit of innovation to them, changing them, adjusting them a bit, and then making them our own so they work for our people, for the people who are among the Nordic environment. But the Nordics are also seen strongly in the world. If we go to the States, we go to Switzerland, or even to Asia, many of the Nordic core strengths actually come from these places. There is this really powerful video done by the Scandinavian Airlines, which showcases what is truly Scandinavian. For those who haven't seen the video, I recommend you strongly that you go in on YouTube, look for the video, and you watch the video and see a bit things that might challenge your thinking. So we think that licorice, for example, is from here, from Finland, a Finnish product, but actually it comes from Asia. In addition, we think that Santa Claus, the mythical old man who brings us gifts in the winters, actually lives in the North Pole. But history actually showcases that Santa Claus might not be that Finnish as we think. Santa Claus might actually be from somewhere in the Greek and Turkish region originally and originating from there. But something has happened there on the road, and Santa Claus has found his home up here in the north among us Norders. We, the Norders, are something new here on the block. No one has actually heard that much about us. But what we aim to do is to actually bridge the Nordics through different kind of initiatives that we are running together with amazing partners. Today at our event, and what made our event possible, what amazing array of different Nordic partners who came together to actually help us make an event like this happen. I want to highlight the list of our partners on our webpage. If you want to see who all are behind today's initiative, who has been supporting us, who have been bringing us different kind of content, helping us reach people, just go into the webpage www.thenorders.co, and you'll find all of our partners listed there. To also get more information about what we're going to do, to stay up to date with today's event, and to get more knowledge about why Norders are here and what we aim to the future, you can also sign up for our newsletter list at the webpage, where we will keep you updated in the near future about all the different things that are going to happen with us, but also in the Nordic region in the future. So today is the Nordic Day 2021, and this English-speaking event organized by us is going to comprise a big amount of different kind of talks to inspire you about the Nordic core strengths and the different Nordic aspects that we want to discuss, what has happened in the Nordic region, how the pandemic has affected the Nordic region, and especially how the future of the Nordic region will look. In today's talks, we have a mix of keynotes, we have some panel sessions, and then we also have some powerful fireside chats with speakers from all across the Nordic region. We have speakers from Denmark joining us, we have speakers from Finland, from Sweden, from the Faroe Islands, from almost every corner of the Nordic region. And for us, this is just a start, something extremely fun to do, because we wanted to bring a lot of people together from different backgrounds to actually fuel this collaboration that we have. Events is one of the aspects that I'm started greatly to like during the last 1 year. So for many, the pandemic has been a crisis. We live in the middle of uncertainty. We live in the middle of times that we really don't know what is going to happen. Could we actually organize an event and be on place? We couldn't. And that's why we are now here at Agrid with less than 6 people driving an event onward. But we'll do the best we can to reach out to the masses and to give answers to the questions that otherwise wouldn't be answered. There's been a lot happening in the event industry lately. And for this first session, I have the honor to also bring on board Erdal Kilinc, the CEO of D-Room Events, who I have a short discussion about what has been happening in the event industry and how can we, with this event today, fuel matchmaking and connections between people. Erdal, please.
Hi, Ronny. Oh, Manta, good morning.
Hi, Erdal. Welcome. How are you doing?
Good. What about you? How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Super excited about the Nordic Day. And I read this amazing article from Yle that all the Nordic people don't have blue eyes and blonde hair. Well, I might be the stereotype, but what does make you tick for the Nordic region?
Like, yes, not all of them are blondies with blue eyes. There are like every different kind of people in Nordics, and like with the last 50 years with the immigration, Nordics are changing a lot. And when you talk about like events and what's going on events, again, what I feel in Nordics is about inclusion. It's not like diversity that you don't always see the blondies and etc. You see all kind of people. Events, again, it changed a lot since the crisis, and before that, in Nordics it changed. Because when we think about events, what we do, we go to a venue, we meet people and etc. And what about the people that cannot go? What about the people that are introverts or people like me that have allergies to perfumes? We were not able to go. Or mothers and fathers, like in Nordics, we have this parental leave that's almost as much as moms, that because dads are taking care of kids more than any other regions, so these people were not able to go to events. And with the crisis, what happened is like all these disadvantaged groups, disabled people like me that cannot stand like the smell of perfumes, or people on maternity and paternity are able to attend events like this and still continue growing their networks, learn, follow up people, and reach out the whole world. It's not like, geographically limited anymore. Like the world is in a reach of a blink.
Exactly. So you've been here in the epicenter of the Nordic region during the whole pandemic. What has been the biggest changes you have seen in the Nordic event industry?
Like the Nordic event industry had to switch really fast, and it really acted fast to move on to the online. The reason behind that is like, Nordic countries, we are up in north. We are far from most of the other part of the world. And we were always trying to reach out people with different means, not just like, gathering people in centralized event venues and etc., like masses, whatsoever. So the whole industry switched really fast, and the change was like events used to, like back in time, events used to take like around 60% of marketing budgets. Mm-hmm. But then with efficient marketing, with online events, it got the reach out much bigger to bigger masses, and the costs have been dropping down. And in marketing, when you you want to collect leads, you want to reach out, you want to build your brand, and then you want to nurture your customers or leads and etc. And online events became like a new channel for digital marketing, and Nordics adjusted really fast, and they are reaching out to bigger masses, like many projects that have been done with Africa, now Asia, Latin America, and etc. So it switched from like day one immediately to forming a new way of eventing.
Cool. And you're behind Deal Room Events.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you as a partner here.
Thanks.
Could you shortly give us an introduction about what Deal Room Events actually does and what you're doing in the event to fuel the event industry?
Mike, basically back in time when it was the normal times, Deal Room was a platform designed actually for Nordic people, because Nordic people, when you get to know them, they talk. They make business, they are trustworthy, they are honest, they talk straightforward. But the icebreaker was hard with Nordic people. Although they have icebreakers in all these countries, icebreaking between people is not that easy. So Deal Room was the platform that people register themselves, create their profiles, and then meet others, chat and book meetings that will happen on the event day at the venue at some table or some booth. So with the crisis, we moved everything to online to get people in a simple way connect to each other, exchange ideas, and book meetings while they're consuming the content of the event. So in Deal Room, basically the platform it's the new venue for events globally that you want to use it for online events or hybrid events like this, or in real case events. The whole point is to make sure people have their full agenda that will happen during the event day, their connections, their deals, their discussions, their learnings, all planned in advance. And then on the event day, they know where they're going to end up with, who they're going to talk with, and etc. And then, of course, there's always the random chats here and there saying hi and bye.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're with Norders are all about bringing people together and also allowing people to network and build a community of people who come together and meet each other. Deal Room allows people to do this one-on-one matchmaking. Could you tell a bit about that opportunity and how we can leverage it during today's event?
So basically, right now, I know that there are a lot of people on Deal Room watching out this session. It's simple. You just click on the participant tab. If you have not registered yet, you can go register. What's the website for the event on Deal Room today?
nordicday.dealroomevents.com.
nordicday.dealroomevents.com. If there are any people watching us out from YouTube or Facebook or any other channels, you can go to nordicday.dealroomevents.com, create your profile, see who else is interested, who else is in the Nordic Day, send them a chat message, say hey, hi, homenta, and then try to have a meaningful conversation during the day and carry over your connections to the next step.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm already at the Deal Room Events platform, waiting to meet you all. I know many of our guests have already signed up there, many of our speakers. So take this opportunity and leverage this amazing power of the Nordic environment where we actually can meet with almost whoever in the environment, which I've always found really, really, really inspiring. If you want to reach the president, it's just to take up the phone and call. And I think that's something that I've learned from a Deal Room and also Peter Vesterbacka here during all the years that we've been doing stuff together. Erdal, I have one last question to you before I let you go and continue with your day. You're originally from Turkey.
Yes.
Could you tell us, in your opinion, how do you see or in what ways do you see the Nordics in Turkey? Can you see it?
That's a tough question for me. I left Turkey in 2003 and then been to many other countries, and I am living in Finland for like 8 years. How people see Nordics in the Turkey is like first the education. Like, the Finnish education and then the Swedish education, Norwegian and the education, etc. Another aspect that the people see Nordics is like, Finland have been the happiest country for the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the ranking, you will see all the Nordic countries following each other, tailing each other. So people are happy, and then they also see this amazing nature. Like, in Turkey, there is they think that it's 6 months night and 6 months day. However, we have some days during the winter, not that's like really 6 months night. So another thing is like the social harmony and the welfare states that they see from here, because people are safe, secure, they are trustworthy, and they have a respect to each other. So this is in a nutshell what people see from Turkey, how Nordics are.
Really interesting. And maybe next time we'll see that Turkey is also on the inviting list when we run these Nordic events even on a bigger scale. So
could be.
Hopefully we have some people already joining.
Yeah.
Hey, it was a big pleasure to have you on board. We're super excited to use Deal Room events at today's one-on-one matchmaking to make those Nordic connections happen. A big thank you, Erdal, a friend and also partner in crime to this event, for joining the stage. I wish you the best possible day and have a happy Nordic day.
Thanks a lot. Kiitos, tack.
Kiitos, tack. Amazing. So that was Erdal Kilinc, the CEO of Deal Room Events. And if you want to learn more about Deal Room, please go to www.dealroomevents.com and you'll find more information about Deal Room and how you also could leverage the platform to empower any one-on-one matchmaking or events that you're doing for the moment. It's actually really interesting because one of the key aspects that people has been asking for when building this event and taking onward these different Nordic approaches has been to create a platform that allows Nordic people to come together to just simply meet. I myself was a student, or am still a student, at Hanken School of Economics, hopefully soon graduating with my master's in economics. During my studies, I had the opportunity, thanks to the Nordic Council of Ministers and various projects, to actually do different kind of collaborative projects, including many of the Nordic countries. So, for example, we did this excursion together with Hanken Entrepreneurship Society to Singapore, funded by this project called Rising North. During this project, I got to matchmake and meet a lot of other Nordic young people. And this is what we also want in the future to do with the Norders, bring this kind of easy opportunities for people to come together, now in the midst of the pandemic online. But after the pandemic, we wish to have more of these kind of initiatives supporting the young people to actually come together between the countries already in a young age. Today, if we look at our program will run partially parallelly with the Nordic Council of Ministers events. Our program goes from 9 to 5 p.m., while the Nordic Council of Ministers program starts at 12 and runs until 7:15 p.m. If you want to follow in your local language, I mean in the Nordic languages, you'll find all the Nordic Council of Ministers information on our webpage, and you can sign in to each of the events from there. Our program, in essence, is built as presented through keynotes and panel sessions, but we'll start first with an amazing keynote from Christina Hafos, the Secretary General. After that, we follow with the fireside, talking about the role models in the middle of diversity. We continue the program with talking about the Nordic brand, changing a bit how you think about things, looking at the future of the finest Bay Area. We'll look at the universities and sustainability aspect that we have here. But then also we get a greeting from the minister, followed by panel sessions about Nordic impact and the why behind it. And also summing up, how do we actually see and find the Nordics out there in the world? One of the sessions that I'm extremely excited about as well is the session about Nordic leadership and mindset that will be delivered by the basketball team's head coach, Henrik Detman. I myself played basketball as a young child, and I think many of my Nordic leadership learnings have actually emerged from sports. We'll hear more about that as well later when we continue with the program. The program is also built so that there would be something for everyone, or kind of like a path that goes through all of the events if you want to follow the whole day. So wherever you have time or wherever you find a session that you or your friends might find interesting, be sure to share any of the information through our any of our social medias, so Norders, and there you'll find the event, or the Nordic Day 2021 by using the hashtags Nordic Day 2021 or hashtag Norden 2021. So these are the ways how you're easily able to be part of the discussion in addition to the chats that we have online. The next session we'll have is an opening from super entrepreneur Peter Vesterbacka, the former Mighty Eagle from Angry Birds, but also the founder of Slush and now the Finest Bay Area Development Project. Peter has been working for a long time in this Nordic environment. Peter has been driving different initiatives, but also seeing that the young people actually are the ones who lead the change. Now, without further ado, I will welcome Mr. Peter Vesterbacka to the stage and give us a short opening about why we are spending the Nordic Day here today.
Hey, yeah, great. And it's fantastic to be here. So I think that this is the time of the year that all of us here in Nordic countries are super happy. And of course we're happy because the days are getting longer and it's actually finally getting a bit light outside. But also this is typically when the UN presents their report on the happiest nations on the planet. And I think that of course that also makes us happy. So again, here in Finland was #1, but we were closely followed by all the Nordic countries. And I think that this is something that we should be very happy about. So it's not a coincidence that the Nordic countries are topping the list, and I think that there are kind of like many reasons for that. So yeah, we heard about the beautiful nature and like all of that, but I think that okay, in the non-pandemic times I travel a lot, and I think that you can like learn to appreciate what you have when you then visit other places, and then like you can put things in context. But I think also one way of looking at what we've achieved here as kind of like Nordic countries, I mean there are very few of us, and we're small nations, and I think that we've always then looked at the fact that hey, like the most important resource, it's our people, obviously, and I think that that's what you'll hear from a lot of companies, a lot of nations, and I think that it's very much true. I mean, here in Finland, 5 million of us, and then if you look at been to China and India, and obviously you have 1.4 billion people. And then I always share this story that okay, here we decided to invest in education, and not just for a few people, but for all. And I think that is very important. And then I always ask that okay, here you have 1.4 billion people, huge nation. What is your most important resource? And of course, it's the people. It's the same thing. And I think that is again there's no kind of like difference in that regard. But I think that what is different, if you look at the Nordic countries, is that okay, a lot of us also grew up watching American TV series and movies and like all of that, and then we kind of like took that American dream, if you will, and we made it into kind of like this Nordic reality that we have today. So providing equal opportunity for all, providing everybody, not just a few, with a fantastic education. And because of that, we have what is probably the highest social mobility anywhere in the world. And I think that is what makes the Nordic countries very unique, and also that is seen in the happiness that you can be born poor or anywhere, and you can still make it. And I think that is something that is not just kind of like the American dream, but it's very much like the Nordic dream. But actually, it's not just a dream; it's also reality. And I think that the happiness, of course, if you ask any parent, what they want for their, child or their kids, of course they want happiness and a happy life. And I think that the best way to ensure that is to provide fantastic education, and that's definitely something that we do here in the Nordic countries. So yeah, happy to be here, and happy that it's Nordic Day, and I hope that we can celebrate many more, even bigger Nordic days. And of course, the world is invited. The Nordic countries have always been very open, very welcoming. So I think that that's also part of kind of like the Nordic spirit. So, happy Nordic Day to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. And to ask you a question, you've been doing this finance project now for a while.
Yeah.
Why do you believe that the Nordic region is the place where you can have your finest future?
I think that again, because we took, as I said, American dream and made it, like real. And I think that is something that we're very happy and very proud of. And also I think that you can see that if you're an entrepreneur and you look at the success stories here in the Nordic countries, I think that we have the highest number of unicorns per capita, kind of like by far, higher than Silicon Valley or China or anywhere else. So it really is a great example of the fact that you can make it big here. So if you want to start a company, this is the place to be. And also because we have a very safe environment, it's also we believe in the rule of law. So again, your interests are protected, and it's something that I think should be the case everywhere, but you don't have to go very far outside of our borders, and it's not the case. So I think that again, we can offer a fantastic environment for entrepreneurs, a fantastic environment for like any individual to kind of like pursue happiness. So that's very much part of this kind of like universal dream, and I would even say that it's part of like our universal rights, and you can find that reality here in the Nordic countries. So definitely where you should be.
Really good. And you're a well-known storyteller out in the world. I've been hearing many of your really interesting stories. Would you be able to share us one Nordic story that is close to your heart?
Nordic story that is close to my heart. I think that there are many, but I think one thing that I find that is like one thing in common if you look at like the Nordic stories. I think that we are very let's say pragmatic people, and I think that this is something, and also that we are very non-hierarchical. And I think that there are many examples of that I mean you can approach like anybody, you know, be it, you know, like a prime minister or a president or you know, like a important business leader. I think that that's something that it's very very pragmatic, very straightforward, and I think that is something that many of kind of like the Nordic you know success stories and Nordic stories have in common, that we're not very you know, like big believers in having all of this kind of like hierarchy and basically no matter who you are, you know, it doesn't stop, you know, you from approaching people or people from approaching you. So I think that is kind of like a big part of kind of like our society, is that they are very open and very approachable. So I would say that approachable is a good word to describe what we have over here.
Amazing, and I think it goes a lot hand in hand with the value of openness that we also have here.
Absolutely,
that we're
absolutely.
Open to whoever who has the best possible skills or the best possible mindset to do these different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last question I have for you is, you work a lot with the young people. And now the young people are the ones that we actually aim to ignite with also today's event. So what do you think that would be the best steps to ignite the young people, both here in the Nordic region, but also outside of it?
Yeah, I think that, okay, many things, but I think that it's about leadership. So always when you want to go somewhere, it kind of like helps if you know where you want to go. And I think that is very important to then kind of like set some goals and some ambitious goals. And of course, there's a lot of very interesting opportunities to, you know, make the world a better place. So, you know, starting with like looking at, you know, all the different UN SDGs and, you know, like how can we improve. And I think that is something that I think resonates with most young people because obviously there's a lot that we can, you know, do better and we need to fix. And I also think that the biggest impact you can have through business and through entrepreneurship. So I think that is something that is very important to encourage this kind of like entrepreneurial approach. And for me, you know, entrepreneurs are people who do things. So we should encourage the doing, and we should encourage the people that want to change the world. And I think that is something that I always say that it's kind of like the job of us, you know, slightly older people to stay out of the way and make sure that governments and other people stay out of the way while the young people are changing the world. And I think that is something that is very, very important. So yeah, making sure that if we can, we help, you know, remove any you know, blockers, any hurdles, and then encourage young people to you know, do things. And I think that always say that, you know, like young people are people too. So I think that is also like a very Nordic thing, that you don't have to be, you know, old and have you know a lot of like gray hair or anything like that to be trusted to do things. And I think this is something that we don't always realize, and I guess I don't know if it's like part of the Nordic model, but that's kind of like the reality here again, that you don't have to be, you know, like 70 plus, you know, white male to run the country. And I mean, if you look around here, you know, our political leadership in most Nordic countries are you know, like the opposite. So I think that this is also what we see in business and what we see in society, that it's okay for young people to lead, it's okay for young people to do things. And I think that is again one thing that I'm super happy and also proud of here in Nordic countries, that, you know, like of course young people can do anything, and I mean that's kind of like a bit of cliche, but you know, young people obviously are the future. So that's kind of like how the world works. So of course it's important that we encourage young people to get stuff done.
Amazing. Hey, thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you.
You'll be back today later.
Yeah, I'll
with
be
the
back
keynote.
and talk about the Finest Bay area, so I'll see you around. Yeah.
Super excited about that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank
We'll
you.
continue soon again.
Yeah, see you.
Happy Nordic Day.
You too, you too.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Peter Vesterbacka. Now we're closing in to the end of this first opening session. I wanted to remind you of a couple of practicalities before we move to our first keynote. So just a couple of things that we actually aim to do during this day. We have a big bunch of people following today's event, also listening to the different speeches and the different panels that we have. We're going to post two different kind of polls during the day. One midday poll during the break from 12 to 13, when we're also going to play some Nordic videos showcasing Nordic brands and Nordic doing. In these polls, we will ask different kind of question of what would you like to see from a Nordic community in the future? What kind of initiatives would you like to participate in? What would you like the community to teach or bring to you to be able to lead more of this Nordic change globally? So be sure to attend those polls, put your voice out there, and be also sure to join the newsletter list because we'll post all the answers to the polls and all the procedures we're going to do towards reaching those. In addition to that, if you have any questions to the speakers during the day, our amazing team, that I also want now to thank you, is going to take all the questions from the background, and those questions we will pick around 1 to 2 per session and redirect them to the speakers and answer the rest also after the session. So be active in the chat and use the opportunity of asking questions from the amazing speakers we have brought on board to inspire you. I will want to further continue with my thank you to everyone who has made today's event possible. It will be an extremely exciting day, and it has done in close collaboration as the Nordic value state. A big thank you to the whole Norders team, a big thank you to Dear Room events, and a big thank you in advance to all of our speakers for taking the time to celebrate the Nordic Day, and especially during this celebratory year of the Nordic Council of Ministers turning 50 years old. Next, we will have our first keynote speaker joining us in just a couple of minutes. The first keynote speaker will be Kristina Hafos, the Secretary General of the Nordic Council. Before, she was working as the Minister of Finance in the Faroe Islands and is now placed actually in Denmark, from where she is joining the event. She has also an amazing background in sports and has, for example, been a national swimmer, and she's going to talk about the Nordic region as the lighthouse to the world's biggest problems, a topic I'm extremely excited to hear more about. But without further ado, let's take a short break and we'll be soon back with our first keynote of the day. Thank you so much and happy Nordic Day.